Now let's look at the different types of muscle contraction. And the way that we're best able to describe this is by breaking the muscle down into what we call functional components. So the functional components of the muscle include the contractile elements. So this would be our actin and myosin, or our sarcomeres, that are going to be contracting and creating tension. And then we have our series elastic elements. And these consist of tendons as well as some other proteins within the skeletal muscle, something called titin, which is an elastic element as well. So when we look at the muscle as consisting of contractile and series elastic elements, a great way this has been depicted is here would be our contractile elements, which would be the sarcomere, and then the series elastic element is very much like a spring. So it's not going to be creating tension, but it's something that we can stretch. And then the load is what we're going to be trying to move with the tension that we create. So with this in mind, here is our contractile elements, here's our series elastic elements, and here's the load we're trying to move. So what happens when we first stimulate this muscle? When we first stimulate it, we're going to have our contractile element shorten and our series elastic element lengthens. Now notice that we measure the length of a muscle is going to include both the series elastic element and the contractile components. So although our contractile component shortened, our series elastic element lengthened, so our overall muscle length is the same. And yet we are contracting that muscle and creating tension. So if the load here is greater than the force that this muscle can create, then we stop here. This is referred to as a isometric contraction. So we are creating tension, our muscle is contracting, but the overall muscle length is staying the same length. Now the other type of contraction is one where our muscle is shortened, our contractile elements have shortened, our series elastic element is lengthened, but if we keep stimulating this, we can continue to shorten those contractile elements, which means our force is greater than or equal to the load that we're trying to move, and so we can actually continue to shorten and thereby move the load. So notice what happens to our length of our muscle now. Now we have shortened the length of the muscle. So in this case, it's a muscle contraction where the overall muscle length shortens. This is referred to as an isotonic contraction.